In recent times, at the forefront of a lot of Australians' minds is the upcoming referendum for the voice to Parliament. As a voter, I wanted to check out the arguments for and against the voice, and in doing so, thought that this would be a good chance to assess how effective each side was at asserting an influence. I'm a yes voter, so I decided to check out the No campaign, focusing on a 9-minute documentary titled One Together, put out by Fair Australia, which, according to the organisation, is a grassroots movement of no voters. The documentary was uploaded on the 19th of April earlier this year and centres entirely around Senator Jacinta Price, who is the head of Fair Australia and a leading figure in the No campaign. The video is mainly an attempt to build Jacinta's ethos so that the viewers might trust her more when it comes to her political beliefs. The first couple of minutes is essentially a personal introduction from Jacinta. When text comes up to describe who is speaking, we have her name, and then in a notable order her titles. First, that she is a Warlpiri woman and a mother of 4, and secondly, that she is a politician. This order is intentional. We're already being asked to see her first as an Indigenous woman and mother, and not a politician. Being Indigenous, she is obviously an important voice in the discussion, and a mother is a far more relatable thing to be than a senator. Following this is a sequence of shots of Jacinta's happy, laughing family, her narration highlighting the importance of their multiculturalism. As Jacinta will mention later, a big argument against the voice is that it is divisive. These positive images of her family are implying that voting yes to the voice might split good families like this in half. When Jacinta begins talking about her experience with problems in the communities she grew up in, we see a few interesting shots. One of an empty and tattered cardboard case of beer, another of a ruined old chair, a graffitied give way sign, all with the backdrop of the Outback Australia. The symbolism here is clearly trying to highlight the struggle these communities face, and to hear Jacinta over the top discussing her desire to help those in need, we're being asked to connect the images of very real issues with Jacinta's own selflessness and desire to help those problems. This is further reinforced by the imagery of her speaking with members of her community, and her expression seems to be conveying a sense of understanding. Another shot that stood out to me was Jacinta speaking in Parliament, superimposed over B-roll of the Outback, and superimposition is a very sort of transparent way to try to connect two images. What we're seeing here is Jacinta and her political side in harmony with her heritage. We're introduced about halfway through the video to the idea that the voice to Parliament will be divisive. This is where the video begins to steer towards what I would call the secondary goal of the video, which is to convince the viewer to vote no in the referendum. The primary goal being to instill a trust in Jacinta from the viewer so that the secondary goal might be achieved. We trust that she has what's best in mind at this point in the video, so when she begins to deliver a political message, we are more susceptible. After this, there's a minute-long musical number over the top of footage of Jacinta and her husband laughing, cooking, and hiking. One of the questions posed in Arthur Asaberger's article on how we should be analysing advertisements relates to the political attitudes being indirectly reflected by the ad. Throughout the video, we've been subject to the building of Jacinta's ethos, and towards the end, she claims that she'll be voting no. To call back to Arthur Asaberger's question, there's a clear implication that we should be conflating our familial values with the no side of the referendum. At the very end of the video, text comes up on screen saying, "Vote no," which is the first and only time in the video where this direct call to action occurs. After all the work that has been done throughout the video, we're being asked to trust Jacinta on this issue. As a yes voter myself, I thought it would be fascinating to see if the no side had a legitimate influence on me at all, but I see now that that is not really the goal of the video. We see no statistics, no legal jargon, no information. The video consists of things not really considered political, so that they can reach that mass audience that might not hold strong political beliefs one way or the other, and convince them to trust Jacinta Price and whatever she says. And for that reason, I'd say that this video is pretty effective in doing what it sets out to do, which is build Jacinta's ethos.